Good afternoon. My name is Milien. I'm honored today to be speaking at the Middle East Teaching and Learning Conference. Today, I will be speaking about avoiding digital clutter, using technology meaningfully in the educational sector. So, who am I? I am the founder of Teach SOS, which is a teacher support group. I'm a teacher for more than 20 years. I'm an educational resource creator. I'm a Microsoft certified educator, Microsoft innovative educator, and an Aleph ambassador. I've held leadership positions at school and district level, and most importantly, I believe in empowering people to use technology at their level, whilst continuously encouraging personal growth and challenge. So, the objective for today, what are we going to talk about today? So, firstly, we're going to define digital clutter. Then, we're going to look at streamlining your digital environment. We're going to have another look at critically evaluating your digital educational environment. And finally, we are going to look at how we can support staff and students in avoiding the digital clutter. So, what is digital clutter? So, digital clutter is essentially the disorganization of your data, your files, and your digital devices. This mess can appear in many forms. It can be like an inbox with 15,000 emails. It can be cell phone storage that's full, hundreds of files on your desktop. Digital clutter doesn't just slow your device down, it slows you down. If you're finding that you're spending a lot of time of your working day sifting through information, trying to find the right app or find that file, then you're probably a victim of digital clutter. Now, there's a very interesting report that was submitted by Adaptivist, and this was looking at digital use. Um, and one of the things that I found extremely interesting is that 45% of people say they have too many tools and software to manage. During the pandemic, we were forced to go online. We were forced to use more technology. Now, whilst that was wonderful, what also happened is the market was completely swamped with a ton of digital tools. So companies very quick to adapt and find all these tools and use them and implement them. But then what happened is, as we can see in the survey, 45% of people started to develop tool fatigue, and our students have it as well. They are tired of going to multiple websites in each lesson to try and do many things. 54% of workers said that they spend more than half an hour per day just looking for the information. And 56% of people say most of the day is reactive, just trying to go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, instead of proactive where they can try and work ahead to solve problems. So, for example, for me, if I'm trying to create a resource, I probably spend 2 hours a day looking for information. But most people probably spend between 20 to 30 minutes a day just looking for information, searching emails, searching chat conversations on WhatsApp groups to try and find out what we need to do, looking for a document because your school submitted one. I think when it's inspection season in schools, that searching for information number goes right up, and it's probably almost tripled. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about was streamlining your digital environment. So, the first thing, if you're not using it, delete it. This talk is about for your emails, files, photos on your phone. If you have 37 photos of one cat, even though it's a beautiful cat, maybe delete the ones you're not using. So, if you're not using it, delete it, archive it. Keep your desktop minimal. Try and keep your desktop smooth. Try and keep maybe 3 or 4 folders where you save key files and shortcuts to applications that you use a lot. Avoid saving everything to your desktop because you think it's easier to find, because eventually if you have a 400 things on your desktop, it's not that easy to find. Do a 5-minute daily cleanup. Just like your house, if in your personal or your physical environment, your desk or whatever, you maybe need to do a 5-minute cleanup every day just to make sure you've put away the files or the laundry or whatever. Do a 5-minute computer cleanup every day. Just spend 5 minutes deleting some old files or do double files photos and sort of commit to doing a 5-minute cleanup. Make sure to rename documents. I'm going to mention this a few times because it's actually very important for digital clutter. Rename documents to make them easy to find. Have a naming system. Remove multiple versions of the same document. We're all guilty of this because we get an email with a document we need to work on. We can't find that document, we download it again. And we download it again and we download it again. Eventually, we're not quite sure which version of that document we need. So download the document, name it with a proper naming system, and then save that and delete all the rest. Clean out your archive. So if you have an email archive, well, maybe once in a while go back and look through that archive and delete the things that you really don't think you need. Then this is very important for our phones and for our computers, is uninstall unused apps and programs. Sometimes we're out with friends and they tell us about a new application, we download it, but we find well, we're not using it. You can, on your cell phone, check your app usage if you search app usage in your phone settings and see which apps you're not using a lot. Check them and delete the ones you haven't used in a year. You know, monthly apps should be like things for paying bills, weekly, maybe grocery shopping, daily, our communication apps or our entertainment apps, and delete the things you're not using. Same on your computer. If you've downloaded a bunch of um, programs just to try and see how they work and didn't quite work out, delete them immediately. Don't keep them. Uninstall them immediately. Now, by being less social, I don't mean don't interact with people. What I do mean is have a designated device or time for your social media and turn off notifications for social media. For WhatsApp, for example, keep notifications on if it's for important people, but these groups, avoid mute all those notifications for groups that tend to talk a lot. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these things, Snapchat, mute those notifications so that you go look when you're ready. Because otherwise, it's constantly cluttering up your phone or your computer and interfering in your workflow and your day. So try to, or what I tend to do is you can either have the rule that I will only look on social media on my laptop. Therefore, when your phone's with you, it's not doesn't have social media on it. So it's a dedicated time every week or whenever to catch up. Or say I'm not putting social media on my laptop because my laptop is for work. And adding that into the mix just makes it even more cluttered and confused. So I would say try to be more social face to face, but less social digitally. Be strategic about browser bookmarks. My kind of rule is if it's not a bookmark I'm using almost daily or weekly, I'm not going to bookmark it because you want the files to be visible in your bookmark bar so you can see what you're doing. If you are saving and saving and saving and saving, eventually you're not even seeing those files and you tend to forget about them as well. If it's something that you can just find with a quick Google search, or alternatively, have a live OneDrive document and copy paste the links in there of all the websites that you find useful so that you're not cluttering up your bookmarks. Number 10, put all documents and files into folders. Make sure that all your documents are in a folder. They're not running free and loose on your computer or your phone. Make sure that they're in a folder that's named. That way you can find them easily. And then take 10 minutes a day to manage your emails. Um, make an email for follow up, make a folder, for follow up, make a folder of it. Ask yourself with an email. If it's useless, it's not something I need, delete it straight away. If it's something that needs more time to work on, to find information, then put it in your follow up folder. If it's something you can deal with now, deal with it. If it's an email that's going to take 2 minutes to reply to it, and then get it out of your way. So, just some useful tips, some more useful tips. If you don't use it, delete it. Keep your desktop minimal. This is just a rehash of the daily thing. 5-minute cleanup. Rename your documents. Remove multiple versions of the same document. We tend to save the multiple versions of the same document. Clean out your archive. Uninstalled unused apps. Be less social, like I said. Be strategic. Put all your documents in a folder and take 10 minutes a day to manage. So just a quick recap of what I said before, just to make sure that it's clear. I want us now, I'm just quickly going to show you in my email. So for example, here is my email. Now it's full of spam. So part of my 5 minutes a day, for example, is um, unsubscribe or block emails that aren't relevant to you. You can also then label it. So I can label this as follow up later. So then I have a follow up later, or I can right click and I can archive it, delete it. So try and make you add to tasks. Here I would add to tasks the things that I know, oh, okay, this is stuff I need to deal with today. So this is just from Google. Outlook is very similar. So Outlook as well, you can see I've got these. So what I can do is I can move it. I can move it to deleted items folder because I don't want that. Or I can flag it if it's something that's important that I need to deal with later. So try and make more use of your email functionality when you use it. Okay, so next thing I'm going to go back to is now um, some more technical tips. So archive emails, like I showed you, a naming system. Make sure that you name your files in a specific way. So I'm going to jump out here again and just show you here. So for example, this is my lesson plan folder. As you can see on my desktop, I have a folder that's Term 3 2022. Then I have a naming system. This folder is for Unit 8's lesson PowerPoints. Now each lesson, I've named it the grade, the unit, and the lesson name. And what I also did is make the icons larger. So if you right click and you go view, if you do extra large icons, that's a really quick time saver because this way I can immediately see what's in the file. So if I go to documents as well and I want to go again view extra large icons, now I can kind of very quickly see what's in most of the files. So that helps me find my documents. Make sure to set up a folder for OneDrive where you save all your documents. Make sure that everyone has a link or the path to the folder. Clean up. Another useful website is Search Everything. So it's just you can download this application. It's just called Everything. Now, normal Windows search is good, but this one is extremely thorough. And as you can see, I search lesson. Now it searches all the folders. A lot of times we miss out on some of the folders. So this one is really good. It's called Everything, and it's an excellent website. So now, how do I critically evaluate my educational resources? Say there's a company that comes into my school and they have a new learning platform that they want me to use, or there's a teacher that wants to use a new website, or a student recommends a new platform or a new application. Firstly, primarily, does it connect to the learning objectives, or is it just full of glitter and sparkle? Does it connect to what you want to teach? Um, Make sure that it really does. If you are teaching reading, is it a reading website or is it just a plain website? So make sure that it connects to learning objectives. Make sure that it has longevity. Will this still be a good website in a year's time? Or is it more flash of the pan? If it's flash of the pan, I wouldn't use it. Like, it's important to choose digital and educational resources that have longevity, things that are adaptable. In the Middle East, especially, the educational environment is very changeable. So we need to make sure that there really is longevity in what we're doing. Is this platform adaptable? Can it change? Can it accommodate curriculum change, student change, grade change, teacher change? Ease of use. You kind of have to ask yourself, can an 8-year-old use this? Make sure that that platform can be used not by the best user, but by the worst user. That it's easy enough to navigate by the person who needs more time for digital tools. The thing is, we're also working in an environment with lots of languages. So it's very important that we understand that and that we understand that websites are easy to use because of the language barrier uh, point as well. The next one, accessibility. How many clicks do you need to get into the website? If it's 5, 6, 7 clicks, don't use it. Make sure that whatever you're using is easy to access. Can I get there in 2, 3 clicks? Is it easy to Google the URL if it's a website? Is it easy to use? Will it work on my school's Wi-Fi? Make sure that accessibility is very important. And then what's vital is navigation. How do you move around this digital space with this digital tool? Don't just look from your perspective. Make sure that you evaluate it from your perspective, then sign in with a user's login, then sign in with a student login. Sign in with different logins. Ask 3 or 4 people to sign in at once and see what happens. Make sure that you test how easy it is to navigate before you implement this website. It can be extremely frustrating for students, teachers, users, principals, everybody, if people don't know how to navigate that website. But it's not always their fault because the website is difficult to navigate or people haven't been briefed properly. So test navigation of that tool from multiple points, not just from your viewpoint. So finally, how do we support staff and students? We've looked a little bit about our own personal digital clutter and how we can avoid it. How can we support other people? Avoid multiple emails daily. I tend to write a weekly briefing email, which has all the key tasks for the week and the things we need to focus on. And then I might do 1 or 2 individual follow up emails if needed. But try to avoid emailing people every day. What happens with that is A, you start getting ignored because people are overwhelmed. And B, when people want to go find and look back at which tasks they need to do, they need to sift through a lot of emails, which takes up their important time, which they could be using to complete a task. Next, have a file naming policy and be strict to enforce it. Say, I will only accept files from students which is first name underscore last name and the name of the task. Or staff, I will only accept lesson plans that are saved in the following manner. Make sure that you have the system and it's enforced. It will quickly become habit for teachers and students, and then it will avoid a lot of um, problems from their side and your side because they will eventually find it easier to find their documents and you will be able to easily navigate through their documents. Make sure that on your OneDrive or your Google Drive for a department or your shared online cloud space, that folders are clearly labeled. You have to almost spell it out. Don't just make it lesson plan. Well, lesson plan for when? Lesson plan for who? Lesson plan for which term? For which student? Make sure that it's clearly labeled so that people can easily find it. A very important thing for as well is peer review. For any platform that you want to use or problem, ask someone to look at it. If I want to use a new website for my students and I say, oh, ask some of my colleagues, hey, have you used this website? Or would you mind taking a look at it and telling me if you think you can see any pitfalls or things that might be a problem? Sometimes we're so blinded by the razzle dazzle of the website or the platform or the new tool that we tend to not take a minute to check with our peers. A lot of times we have blind spots in technology, and it's important to get reviews from peers and students. Maybe ask 2 or 3 of your students in class and say, look, tomorrow I want to use this application. Um, can you guys quickly, at 5 minutes at the end of class, see, can you sign on? How's it going? Can you use it? It'll avoid a lot of drama the next day when, when you're trying to do a lesson and nothing's working because you didn't peer review it or review it with students. Very importantly as well is tutorials and work instructions. I'm a firm believer in making a 5-minute video when I want people to access a new platform or do a task. That way, it avoids them asking me multiple times. If there's a language barrier between me and that staff person, they can have a look before. And work instructions as well. In your departmental OneDrive, have a folder called work instructions. And in there, this is how you get a new password. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. So that people can go back and refer to it multiple times and they don't have to feel embarrassed to ask you again because sometimes people feel embarrassed and they'd rather struggle instead of solving the problem. So tutorials and work instructions are vital. Then very important, this is a tip from my IT manager husband as well. Transition and take it away. If you are changing from one learning system to another or one website to another. Transition and then take it away. Don't leave the old one there because people are creatures of comfort. They're going to keep going back to the old one. So if you have a new naming system, immediately say, I'm not accepting these files. Or if you have a new OneDrive with clearly labeled folders, close access to the old one so they can't save stuff there. So make sure that you immediately transition. If you want your student to submit in files in a specific place, make sure that it's only that place that they can get to. And finally, consistency. Make sure that you are consistent in your file naming, in your digital clutter prevention, in your emails, in how you do your daily thing, your 5 minute daily thing, your 10 minutes a day working on your email. Make sure that you spend that time every day to just be consistent because consistency is key. Consistency, just like your house, you clean it every week to avoid it becoming really messy. If you are consistent in avoiding digital clutter and cleaning out your digital environment daily, you will avoid problems in the future. So thank you very much for your time. My name is Milien Botha, as I said earlier. My email address is on the screen. I have a QR code if you'd like to give me some feedback, anything you'd want to know more about. I'd love some feedback from you, or you feel free to email me if you have any questions. And thank you again for the opportunity of speaking to you. I hope you have a wonderful day.